He was arguably one of the world's best footballer, a goalkeeper who played like a midfielder with a vision and range of passing rivaling Modric, and calm and composed under pressure like Busquets. He was a game changer for Inter Milan, with record-setting performances in the Champions League that even had Pep Guardiola singing his praises. But then he came to Manchester United, and things took a turn. From costly mistakes to intense scrutiny from fans and pundits, the pressure was relentless. Some even wondered, did we make a mistake letting De Gea go? But here's the scary truth. There is something deeper happening with Onana that no one is talking about, and it might be exactly what makes him the key to United's comeback. But here's what most fans don't realize. Onana's journey at United isn't just about adapting to a new league or facing critics. Behind the scenes, there's a battle playing out that could define United's entire season. We're not just talking about his mistakes on the pitch. There's a much bigger challenge he's facing, and it's something no goalkeeper can fully prepare for. Andre Onana was at the height of his career after that 22-23 Champions League final, which saw Man City winning and completing the treble last season. But his performance left an indelible mark on fans and coaches alike. Not to mention, he also had a fairly impressive season with Inter Milan in the domestic league, as well as setting a record for 7 clean sheets in the Champions League. This was higher than Cesar, who played in that winning side under Jose in the 2010 season, right? So this was no small fry. This wasn't a keeper that wasn't proven or tested at the highest level of the game. And he came to United with much fanfare. You know, Ten Hag had United firing on cylinders that we didn't know we had, and we finished third, qualified for the Champions League, and things look really promising for once in a really long time. And so Onana came in with this pressure as being the one to replace De Gea. You know, many were ready to see the back of him because modern football apparently had moved towards keepers who were able to play out from the back, you know, and there were so many at the time. Mike Gannon, you know, Martinez at Aston Villa. So it was like the thing for everybody to be doing this. And coming off the back of a successful campaign with Inter Milan, especially in the Champions League, no one could have seen the disaster class that unfolded from Onana in his first season at Manchester United. I mean, he was, by December of that 23-24 season, he had the second most unsuccessful short passes, the third most unsuccessful passes in his own half. He was 15th for unsuccessful long passes and 15th for loss of possession across the top 5 leagues in Europe as a goalkeeper. Not to mention the errors from him that led to goals in the Champions League. He was probably one of the highest with those numbers in Champions League history, probably. Or it wasn't even just him. Everywhere you could look, we had Casemiro playing as defender. It was just a madness everywhere, and it was really tough for Onana. I mean, he had some moments like that Liverpool game in the FA Cup where he kind of showed what we really got him for, you know. But it was a very inconsistent season, and that was all around for the entire team. And so that made many wonder if, you know, trying to fill De Gea's boots was too big, or maybe the curse of De Gea, you know, towards the latter end of De Gea's career was kind of rubbing off on him, and this was now gonna be where we are at with our keepers, you know. And the spotlight on him was intense. I mean, the criticisms was intense. Everything was intense when it came around Onana. Again, you're filling a keeper that had a season where he won, you know, he had the most clean sheets for that season. He had the Golden Glove, and practically they discarded him because he wasn't good with his feet. And here it is that we have someone that should have been good with his feet, but has been poor with the ball and has been poor at stopping shots. But was it really all down to Onana, or was Onana trying to be a savior for the team? Was he trying to do more than what was necessary for the club at the time? And, being a keeper that faced probably the highest number of shots throughout that season, having to make so many saves constantly under pressure, never seeing the same backline probably consistently for 2-3 games at a time, always changing, always these movements, no performance up top, midfield, porous as ever. The goals were not coming. It's clear to see how a player of his character, of his confidence, because let's be real, with all of that, he never seemed to show publicly that this was affecting him mentally. So it's quite possible to think that with all of these issues in front of him, he was really trying to do more than what was needed. And that could be reflected in those stats which showed how poor he was on the ball, But for me personally, I have to give kudos to Onana. He's really found his stride this season, and topped it off winning the award for Save of the Month in September, as well as was voted Man United's Player of the Month. And to really encapsulate just how much he's been United's backbone in a sense is that game against Fenerbahce where he made that double save. It was insane, and I think he did it as well again against Crystal Palace, and that just kind of shows that what we expected from him last season, he's starting to deliver it now, and that kind of underscores for me why his struggles probably last season wasn't necessarily down to him. Not that I'm excusing him from it, but it was more of a product of the team, meaning he wasn't in a team that was able to capitalize on the strengths that he has. You have defenders before you who probably weren't the most agile, the most flexible, not able to play with such a high line. Like Maguire, very slow, so the ability to keep the line high, to recycle possession, being good on the ball, turning, passing, cool under pressure as he is. You saw when he played for Inter Milan, that was fundamental to how they played, and even Pep, would refer to it. It's as if to say he was an extra midfielder, more so than a keeper, because he was so comfortable moving the ball, whether at the top of his 18 or even at the centre half. And despite United not really improving in their defensive options, right, he clearly has adjusted to this team and has adjusted and refocused on what's most important for this team, despite what the performance is like overall. And I do believe he has that character, he has that leadership mentality, that fortitude that is necessary in this rebuild that United is looking at. And if he continues to focus on his game in terms of shot stops, distribution, just focus on what you can do and not try the whole Bruno act where you're trying to be all and everything for the team and end up being nothing. It will continue to expose the weaknesses in the team while cementing his place in the team. Because let's be real, we need a solid backline. We need a backline that's able to utilize it. Look at City and Ederson, and imagine he's like a Ederson 2.0. If you had defenders before Onana, similar to what's at Inter Milan. Inter Milan defenders are pretty good because the young dude that's there, people speak highly of him, right? And imagine you have that at United. It would do wonders for the team.